Welcome to Gray Muscle. This is the inaugural presentation. I'm going to answer the question, why Gray Muscle today? I started this YouTube channel because I wanted to share what I've learned about weight training over the past 35 years. Now, I'm probably like most people. I think the majority of people are not top-notch bodybuilders or elite athletes. They're moms and dads and folks that they enjoy staying fit and they like to exercise. I want to share the expertise that I've got from those experts so that you can learn what's the best way to build a muscle, best way to diet, and some things about human behavior that are interesting. I also want to be able to inspire folks over 50. That's my age group, my demographic. I I do think age is just a number, but I think it's also true that as we age, there are things that start to degrade. And our fitness is one of those things that can degrade quickly if we don't stay on top of it. But it's also one of those things that if we get on top of it, it can be rewarded rather quickly. I want to keep in mind there's this guy, Seth Feroce, and I will mention a lot of experts. I'm building my knowledge base off the experts of others. But he says we want to look good naked. And I think that's kind of where we're headed. I think we want to be in such great shape that if we walk around naked, we're not embarrassed by it. I like the name gray muscle because gray muscle and gray matter kind of go hand in hand. As we age, we need to be smarter. We need to work smarter. We need to use our intelligence to optimize for our performance. So at the same time that we're stimulating our muscles, we should be stimulating our mind. There's a lot of evidence, and we can talk about this in later presentations, that the mind is like a muscle and it needs to be exercised. And as part of that, I like to continuously be learning. If I'm always learning and picking up new things, I'm forcing that muscle, that brain muscle, to grow. And I like to work smart. Time is something we're not getting any more of. And so I want to be the best custodian of the time I have left on this earth. And I want to optimize that for my age. So who am I? Well, I'm a man in my late 50s. I, like many of you probably, started lifting weights in high school, maybe for a football or wrestling or swimming or some other sport. Possibly you did it as a weightlifting class, but I started off in high school lifting weights, and then I continued to be a recreational lifter. But with life, there's large gaps. I'm a father of three. I've had several businesses, and throughout that time, priorities change. And unfortunately, getting to the gym wasn't one of those priorities that necessarily made it to the top of the stack all the time. So I'm now later in life. I've got more time, and I enjoy a challenge. I like when someone says that's hard to do or you can't do that, because then I can say maybe we can. And as I mentioned before, I enjoy learning. So here I am, and just to let you know, that's when I was 54 years old and I entered my first bodybuilding show. So why did I do that? It was on my bucket list. I had for years wanted to do a bodybuilding show, and as I said, I was a recreational lifter. So I turned 54 and I thought, well, here's a big hairy ass goal for the year. And the following October, I entered a bodybuilding show, and that's what I looked like. That's not great. Certainly not going to make the pros, but I was happy with the progress and felt good about what I'd accomplished. So the focus of these presentations, I want to first think about how do we develop strength, muscle size, and improve our physical conditioning. How do we optimize the you? And when we get into later presentations, we'll talk quite a bit about how individualized physical fitness is. You really need to get in touch with who you are, how you feel, what works for you. And there's a bit of trial and error involved with that. Those that will benefit from these presentations, well, the older people, if they're interested more about how to learn and learn, excuse me, if they're interested in learning more about how to condition their body, this is the kind of presentations for you because I'm focusing on that audience. I'm focusing on people my age. I'm thinking if I'm interested in it in my late 50s, then there's a lot of other people in their late 50s, 60s, 70s, and so on. I plan on living until I'm 90 or 100, and I don't think that age should necessarily deter me from meeting that goal. Those of any age don't have a great deal of weight training experience. Well, there's a lot of people I meet at the gym and it's new to them. They're in their 50s, maybe just went to the doctor and found out that they're not doing so well and they need to lose some weight. They need to get some strength in their limbs. There's a variety of things. I will help you learn how to develop a program. I will tell you about what good diet practices there are. I'll explain to you the things that I've done that have worked well for me, and I will talk to you about all of the experts that have told me through webinars, YouTube presentations, and where I rely a lot of my research is on archive quality journal articles, what we've learned, and then pass that along to you, and then hopefully that will be useful to you. I'm also going to be targeting those people who've been lifting weights their whole lives, people like myself, and we're kind of looking for that next level. What can we do to just kind of get a little boost? The extra 5% that'll take us from where we've been to the next step. If you're a lifelong learner and you like to learn, I'm going to have the presentations that you're going to enjoy. So what makes me qualified? Well, in truth, I'm not qualified. I'm not exceptionally strong or exceptionally talented. You've seen a picture of what I look like. I'm certainly not an elite bodybuilder, but what I am is someone who's very good at organizing and conveying concepts and ideas. My entire life, my business practices and things that I've engaged in have dealt with me taking a lot of information and distilling it down so that we can understand it. Sometimes it's reorganizing it, sometimes it's casting it in a simpler view. There's a wide variety of ways in which that can be done. But I feel that's what I am good at. And I'm hoping that these presentations will show you that. So I'm probably just like most of you. I lifted weights most of my life. I enjoy a challenge, and I'm a lifelong learner. Now, I mentioned earlier that I'll be using experts, and this concept of standing on the shoulders of giants, which was popularized by Isaac Newton in the 1600s, is what I'm doing. And I will tell you who those people are, and I will give you references to the material that I'm pulling from so that you can go, if you're interested, and listen to the source material yourself or read the source material yourself so that you're not just relying on what I tell you or my interpretation or understanding of the material, but actually you can go back to the source material and make some decisions yourself if you have the time and that makes sense. Here's some of the topic areas we're going to cover. The basics. For a lot of people, what is a set? What is a rep? Those types of things. What's the terminology and nomenclature that's used? Because if you're going to be listening to or reading about programs and diets, you're going to need to know some of the basics. And that's not necessarily a given that we understand those. I'm going to talk about training. There's a lot of training techniques. I've tried a wide variety of them. Some of them have worked, some of them have not. But I think it's a good idea to look at different training techniques and try to understand why they are the way they are. I'm going to talk quite a bit about diet. A great deal of what we do in our ability to recover depends on how well we feed our body and also how well we recover from each workout. So diet and recovery are topics that I will cover. I will talk about anatomy and physiology. If you're going to work a muscle, I'd like you to know what that muscle is. I'd like you to know how that muscle works. I'd like you to know why it is that the muscle grows. What causes a muscle to grow? What is hypertrophy? How do we optimize hypertrophy? Is there a process in which we can maximize that given the time we have available? I'll talk about supplements. This is, of course, an area where there's a gazillion, maybe even 2 gazillion supplements. How many of those are really helpful? Are they useful? Is there any real true scientific evidence that shows that, for example, creatine, which is used by a lot of people, is that helpful? Does whey protein work better for you than, say, a lean beef? So those are questions that I will answer through the course of these presentations. Drugs. As we age, some of the things we might think about, for example, is hormone replacement or estrogen replacement therapies. Are those helpful? Are there side effects? How do they affect us in a regular everyday life? How do they affect our mental aspects? Equipment. Gosh, there is so much equipment available today in home gyms and gyms that you sign up for. I'd like to talk to you about what equipment there is, what you need, what are the basics, um, and give you additional resources. So one of the presentations that will be coming is one on books. I like to read. I enjoy reading. I read a lot. And which books do I think will help you, especially if you're kind of in my age group, to learn how to do training better than we're doing it now? I've got a lot of experts, and I'm going to go through those experts, pull from their expertise, tell you why I think that's good advice, and share it with you. And then we'll talk about exercises. There's a wide variety of exercises. There's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of exercises. There's body weight exercises, there's barbells, there's dumbbells, there's machines, there's equipment. All of those things are specialized and do specific things. Which ones should we be looking for and why? Now, I've got a few promises I want to make. First, I will try to keep each of these videos to 10 minutes-ish. Now, this one's already running 11 and a half and probably be 12 and a half before I'm done. So an ish is plus or minus 25%. So I'm hoping you'll give me a little bit of leeway, but I will try to keep it short, which means I'm going to be succinct. I'll be accurate. I'm going to give you the references to the source materials, and I will be honest. I will be responsive. What do I mean by responsive? I'm going to ask you to send me your topic ideas, and in 48 hours, I'll respond back to you. I think it's important for you to know that at least I got it. I got your email, and then what I might be able to find out and help you with. And I will do my best, not try, but do my best. So let me leave you with this. There's a slogan called Press On, and it goes like this: press on. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. This has been attributed to Calvin Coolidge. I'll talk about that attribution in just a second. It's just a side piece, but what I'm really telling you here is that the most important thing, and I will come back to this time and time again, the most important thing in any program is consistency. You need to press on. There's going to be days in which you're going to get up and you're not going to want to go to the gym, or you're not going to want to stick to the diet, or you're not going to want to do the things that you need to do to stay young and healthy. And I'm telling you, you need to press on. Now, this attribution from Calvin Coolidge actually came from, believe it or not, a 1915 edition of a gas company journal, so called the Lighting Journal. So for those that are curious, here I am driving all the way back to the source material, and this is an actual copy right out of the journal from 1915, where this quote was almost verbatim taken from. So tell me what topics you're interested in. Send me an email with the topics you'd like me to discuss. If it's inside my expertise, I will discuss it. If it's outside my expertise, I'll have to pass. Here's my email. It's graymuscle@protonmail.com. And until next time, press on.